Let's go.
Hello everyone, welcome. You might have seen me here before in the other calls. So my name is Leticia. I'm an English teacher and I've been volunteering with the Projis group. So I think you all know that the objective of our Monday calls is to practice our English, to improve, to get knowledge and to hear experience from other people. So today we're going to speak with Marcus. He's traveled a lot from what I've seen in his Instagram. He went to study music in England in a very famous school, which he will tell us all about. And he's going to talk about a few points like the difference in the British English and the American English, his difficulties and our difficulties in learning English, and usefuls to help us how to improve and how to learn English in a better way. So, hello Marcus, and tell us a little bit about yourself. How would you like to start? Do you want to give us a background to your life, to your story, to your education?
Yeah, I will start with a presentation. So my name is Marcus. I'm 22 years old, and I would like to thank you all. Thanks for coming for this session, and I hope you enjoy as much as I am already. So I am a musician. I went to the Royal Northern College of Music in 2018, so 2 years ago. And actually, I always have had this dream to study abroad as a musician, because the culture in another country, like especially in Europe, is much better than in Brazil. We all know this thing. So I have chosen the RNCM, the Royal Northern College of Music, because of my teacher, and also because it is one of the best music college in the UK, and also in the whole world. And yeah, that's my little presentation.
Nice. So when you went to Manchester in 2018, was that the first time you traveled abroad? Was it your first time getting like a real experience with the English language?
No, my first time traveling abroad was when I was about 13 years old, so 11 years ago. No, 9 years ago, yeah. And this travel, at this point, I was going to the USA for a summer camp, a music summer camp. And I went to Pensacola in Florida. And it was really annoying and really difficult for me this travel, because like you can imagine, I was 13 years old and I was traveling by myself, totally alone. Like I had no parents, no family members to go with me. And I was studying English at that point. I studied at Yazigi school for a couple of years, but I have a lot of dramatic points during this travel. As soon as I got in the airport in Miami, I have had a problem with my bag, because my suitcase, I don't know what happened actually. I can't remember now, but there was a piece of my bag which was broken, and on this piece I had a paper with all my details, my flight details, and my personal detail as well. And it was something mandatory for the airport, and also by the company, the flight company. And so I have lost this piece of paper actually. And they, like, some of the people which use it to work, in the airport, they said I couldn't go. I couldn't get my next flight without this piece of paper, without my details. And I was 13 years old, so I was in panic, and I was like, how can I explain what happened? Like all the words has, I don't know, totally. I forgot all the words in English at this point, and it was very funny in the end, but not good when I leave this moment. And also, like, the immigration point was really difficult for me because the officer was asking me the questions like, how long would you stay here, and what is your why are you here, and what are you gonna do in the US. He was really rude, and I tried to explain with all the documents I had, like a letter from the university I was going in the summer camp. I was like, oh, I have this letter here and all this stuff. And when I tried to open all this material, he was like, I'm talking to you. I don't want to see any paper. I wanted to talk to you. And I was like, oh, yeah. But this was my first experience abroad.
Oh, wow. Very rude to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
So that was your first experience abroad. So when you went to Manchester, was that your first living experience abroad? And I have a few questions, so I'll try to. Was that your first time living abroad? And why did you choose Manchester? I know you said because of influence from your teacher, but was it just the influence? Did you hear anything good about the color? Inspired?
So my first experience living abroad wasn't in Manchester. Actually, I have lived in Germany and Austria before, around, it was in 2018 as well, the same year, on April, because I was planning to study in Germany, and I went to Germany to meet the teacher I was planning to study with. Because when you are a musician, I think it's much better to think about the teacher you want to study rather than think about the university or the place. I think the first step is choose the teacher you want to study, because it's a very we have a lot of contact with the teacher. It's this contact with the teacher as a musician is really close. So you spend a lot of your time with your own teacher. So anyway, and I went to Germany to meet the teacher I was planning to study, and that was my first experience living abroad. And but I didn't like it. I didn't match with the place and also with the teacher. So I have chosen Manchester and the RNCM because two friends of mine were already studying there, and they told me about the college, about the lifestyle in Manchester, about the UK, and also about the university. And like they convinced me to like make the decision to go there.
Okay, so it was a mixture of everything: your teacher, the place, your friends.
Yeah.
And I have a question about the English, because I lived 14 years in London, and I know how the accents are all different. And I know that Manchester has one of the hardest, most difficult accents in England. It's very close to like a Scottish accent where it's really hard to understand what people are saying. And they speak a lot of slangs as well. How was it for you? Because I know you had experience in America, in other countries in Europe where they speak English. But how is it for you living in a place with such a different English that you're used to?
Well, the first week was really, really difficult for me, because when I first came to Manchester, I was like, oh, it's fine, I can speak English. Like, I have I have studied at the ESG school for 4 years, and I have had 1 year and a half at Cultura Inglesa as well. So, and I have taken the IELTS with a good mark. So I was like, oh, I can speak English, it's fine. And when I got in Manchester, the first person I talked to maybe was another officer again, and I couldn't understand any single word, because the accent's so much difficult. It's so different, and the English I use it to speak, let's say like that, was the American English, because we have this influence from the USA here in Brazil. So it was really hard for me to understand what they were saying. And the first 2 weeks at the uni was really difficult as well, because we have a lot of lectures, not just small group, but also some lectures, about 100 something people in the class. And these lectures were quite difficult, because I couldn't ask any question, which was different when I was in the small groups. Like, people, the teachers knew I was a foreigner, so it was much easier for me. But yeah, in the beginning, it was really, really dramatic.
We have a question in the chat. So
Okay.
I think Rodolfo wants you to talk about your experience in your state youth orchestra. So how was it? How did you start? When did you start? How long did you play there? Is that when you had the chance to move to another country to study music? How was it? Do you still play there?
So I have been playing in the São Paulo State Youth Orchestra from 2015 to 2018. And during this period, I have had loads of contact with people from different parts of the country. So which is really good. Like, it's a good point to be a musician, because we are always meeting people from different countries. Even if you are playing if you are playing orchestra, or also if when we go to music festivals, it's really good. We always have teachers from somewhere, and this period of my life was really good for me professionally, because I have had this contact with professional musician and great teacher as well. At this point, I was actually learning German, because my plan was studying Germany. So I was not studying English that much at this point. But I think around my around my third year in the orchestra, I have got a scholarship to study at the Cultura Inglesa school. And I don't know, it's something, when you don't have any plans and someone puts this thing there, like, not someone, I believe God. So someone put this little thing there, and you just don't understand, but you do it. So that was the English studying at this point of my life. And I retook my studies in English at this point. And when I was playing in this orchestra, I have had different plans to study abroad, and my first choice was get a prize to go to a uni abroad, because it's, of course, I think everyone knows that study abroad is not cheap. So my plan was, I will get a prize, a scholarship, and then I will have money to study at this uni or at this uni. So this prize was sponsored by this orchestra, and I focused 3 years of my life, of my studies, just on this prize. And that's why I study abroad today, because I have got this prize. I won this prize, this scholarship, during my fourth year in the orchestra. And yeah, that's why I have this chance to be there.
So tell us a little bit about your prize. How was it? How did you have to apply for it? Is it something you get in reward for playing? Like, what are the requirements for that?
So this prize is something that happens once a year, and they pick 5 people, 5 winners, 5 different winners, and the first winner is the one who gets the scholarship, and the other 4 people are the ones who get like smaller prizes, and maybe something like to just some money to go to a festival, to buy a new instrument, to invest in somehow. And I have tried to get this prize 2 times before I win it. And the requirements, the first, I think the first phase, the first section is just you have to send a video of you playing a piece, a song by your own choice. And if you get to the finals, if you get to the final round, you have to submit a letter explaining why you want to study abroad, where you want to study, and what is the point about the prize, what kind of impact or what kind of help it will give you. And also in the final round you have to play for a panel. And I remember when I got this prize, there were, I think, 15 finalists, and the panel were also like really big, about 18 people analyzing analyzing my audition, all these people analyzing the audition, judging us, and like most of these people who were in the panel, they are the best musicians in the whole country. And but it was such a nice experience, actually.
That's nice. Rodolfo can apply for this prize as well to study abroad. That's why he's practicing English now. Does anyone else have a question? Because I will keep asking a lot of questions.
I think Eduardo has a question.
Are you applying for this prize, Rodolfo?
I would like to know, Marcus, tell me about your preparation for exam IELTS.
So there are 2 different exams when you want to study abroad. One of them is the IELTS exam, and you have also TOEFL. But TOEFL is common in the USA and somewhere else, I don't remember now. But if you want to study in Europe and in the UK, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, you have to apply for the IELTS exam. And my preparation for the IELTS, I remember I took like 2 whole weeks practicing the English every single day, about 3 hours a day. I was practicing more English than my own instrument. And the thing is, if I have a really good tip to give you, is practice the test, the exam, not the language. Of course, the language is really important. You have to know how to speak English to do the exam, but you have to know how the test works. I think is much more important to know how the test, how the exam runs, rather than just know the English. And there are so many different points between IELTS and TOEFL. So you have to know which one you want to pick, where you want to study. And well, I remember the first thing I have done was I tried to realize my weakest point. So my weakest point at this point was writing, and I think reading as well. So I have studied much more my writing and the reading part, because I knew I would have loads of difficulty to do it. The IELTS, for example, you have to write two different writings, and the first one you have to analyze a graph, and the second one you have to give your opinion about a topic. It's really simple to do it. Like, you can describe these both sections in like 100 words, something like that. But actually they ask you to write about 1,500 words, and the second one is 2,500 words. So you have to write I don't know, you have to be objective, but also like you have to have such a great imagination, something like that, to to feel all this part, all these words.
To know how to blah blah in English.
Yeah, of course.
Just prolong your point a little bit, right? With loads of connectives, long words.
Yeah, that's true. And also they gave us 1 hour to write these two writings. And the thing is, what I have done for the writing part, I have done loads of simulation at home. And the thing is, if they ask you to write 1,500 words, you don't have time to count every single word at all. So the strategy I had during the simulation I was doing, I started to count more or less like how many words can I write per line. So I realized I was writing around, well, I don't remember, but just as an example, let's say you can write 15 words per line. So you know how many words you are using per line. So instead of counting the words, you can count the lines, which is much easier, for example. So you have to have this kind of I don't know how to say that in English, like this kind of malandragem.
That's nice. Yes. I don't think we have a word for malandragem in English, but
I don't think so.
It's very Brazilian.
Yeah.
Eduardo was asking if you're still living in England now.
Now I'm in Brazil, but because
are you still doing your course in Manchester?
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a question about your university, your college. So how long is your course? Well, a few questions. What is the name of your course that you're doing? Is there like a similar one in Brazil that you could have done? How long does it last? And what are the subjects and the modules that you study at university? Are they similar to the ones in Brazil as well?
So the course I'm doing there is BMUs with honors, so it's Bachelor of Music with honors. And here in Brazil, when you go to the uni as a musician, you can choose between bachelor and, well, I don't know how to say that in English as well, licenciatura. So the bachelor is, you pick bachelor if you want to play instead of licenciatura. You take licenciatura when you want to be a teacher here in Brazil. But in my uni and probably in the whole Europe, there is no difference between these two type of course. And the subjects I have, well, it changes every single year. So for example, last week I was choosing some of the subjects I want to have in my next year. But in these 2 years of the during my studies, I have had musical culture and musical culture and politics, I guess so. It was something like the history of the music. So we talked about Baroque period, classic period, romantic, contemporary, all this kind of stuff. And we have this kind of subject in Brazil as well. I have also a subject that I don't think people in Brazil have here is artist development, which is a subject that they try to develop the musician as a whole artist. So in my first module, I have had some conducting lessons, like to be a conductor instead of playing. And I have had also some lessons about how to film, how to record, and also how to edit some videos, some professional video, which is really important for a musician as well. And last year, I have had some lessons about how to how to promote yourself on social media as an artist, which is really good. So I have learned how to do it on Instagram, Facebook. I created a website. I created Facebook channel, YouTube channel as well. And it's really nice to have this kind of subject because as they say, it is like they want to give you the shape, the body of a whole artist instead of just a musician. And oh, sorry, and my course is it takes 4 years.
Oh,
4
great.
years is a long time.
Yeah.
Marcus, what was your first difficulty at university or college? Sorry, in London, it's college. Oh, sorry.
My first difficult, I think it was how to socialize with my classmates, because when I went there, I got there a little bit late, about a month late, because I have had some issues, some troubles with my visa. And when I got there, they were having lessons already, and also the induction week, the week we have like parties and the international week, which is for the international students. And these 2 weeks we have parties and meetings to like socialize, to meet new people. And when I got there, I have lost this 2 weeks, and also 2 weeks of lessons. So it was really difficult for me to make friends in the beginning. Also, because of the language, of course, because I felt I was having difficulty to speak in English. As I said earlier, I thought I used it to speak a good English before I leave Brazil, but actually when I got there, I realized that my English was terrible.
No, in your college, you and two Brazilians in your college here.
Yeah, we are now, um, yeah, two Brazilian. The college in total, we have nearly 1,000 students from 60 different countries, and there are just two Brazilian students, me and a friend of mine who is called Mateus. Last year we used it used to be three of us because Mateus' brother used to study there as well, but now he's graduated. So yeah, there are just two of us.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your university life, because everyone thinks that university outside of Brazil is like parties, societies, and all of this crazy stuff. I went to university in Lewis, which is in, but mine wasn't just like a focused college like yours is for music. It was much bigger, so I don't know the differences myself. So tell me a little bit about your college life. Do you have a lot of interacting with other universities, other colleges? Do you have a lot of parties and societies? What do you do in your spare?
Well, firstly, it's difficult to compare this kind of thing because the music course, it's a very specific course, sorry. Even here in Brazil, like I don't know, it's a different type of studying, but no, I don't have this contact with people from another universities. Sometimes there are some projects that they have some kind of partnership because in Manchester we have the Royal College of Music, which is just for music, and also um, the Manchester University. Yeah, I guess so. The Manchester University has the course of music as well, and sometimes they have some projects in partnership, and we have to play with the students from the Manchester University. But actually, I have never played in any project with these guys. But my lifestyle in college, um, well, I don't have lessons every single day, for example. Like that's a good point about the music course because they know as a musician we have to have time to practice alone. We have to have this kind of thing because uh, I think the 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 most important thing to be a musician is practice. So you have to practice your own instrument, and they know we don't do it like at the university on the building. So that's why we don't have lessons every single day. They know we have to have from 2 to I don't know, maybe 5 hours per day practicing the instrument. And so the schedule is not too heavy, like the academics schedule is not too heavy, but also we have some projects, like some projects we have to play with more people. So for example, big band, orchestra, strings orchestra, something like that. And when we have this kind of project, the schedule is huge. Like it's crazy. I remember last year I have played in an opera project, and I remember something like I have had some difficulty to find time even to have lunch. Like on Wednesday, for example, I remember on Wednesday I started my lesson started 11:30, and it 11:30 until 2 p.m. And sometimes the rehearsal was at 2 p.m. as well, and the rehearsal was from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., something like that. So I didn't have time to have lunch at all. So when we have this kind of project, it's really hard to find time even to eat.
That's cool. Very nice. Does anyone else have a question? I don't think I can see when people raise their hands. I can only see on the chat.
I have one.
Go on.
I want to know what's your what was and what is your favorite food that you ate in England?
In England, ooh, that's difficult because you know what? I try to eat as
Drink is beer, Marcus.
yeah, definitely. I think
Don't say fish and chips.
no fish and chips. No, maybe burger. Yeah, the British burger is really good. But actually, I cook a lot because I live really close to the uni, to the college. So I am always cooking, which is much cheaper than eat abroad as well, eat out. And when I cook, I try to cook Brazilian food or maybe some pasta. And so I don't eat like too much British food.
So you live by yourself? You don't live in a host family?
No, I live by myself. Me and this other Brazilian guy, we live together. We share a rent. We live in a flat, and yeah, we have to pay it like as a normal rent. Like college has a building for the students. It's not like they are not the owner, but they have some kind of partnership with this building, and most of the people who live there, they are students from the RNCM. But honestly, it's paid and it's not cheap. It's really expensive. It's about £170 a week. Yeah.
That's a lot. Do we have any more questions? How are you evaluated at college?
So it depends about the subject. So for example, academic subject, we have to submit an essay or sometimes a presentation. I didn't have any presentation during these 2 first years, so all I had to do was just submit some essay. So doing a lot of researching, and for the other subjects like playing, for this kind of stuff, we have recitals or presentation, playing with more people, which we call chamber music. Chamber music is something we do when 2 or more people play together. So this kind of thing as well. And yeah, that's all.
Can you tell us
Hello,
about...
guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, go on. Ask your question. Any questions?
Nata, do you have a question to Mark?
No, I just get in. I want to say
Okay.
hi.
Okay.
Hello.
Sorry.
So I just have a question about your instruments. Tell us about what do you play? Can you tell us in Portuguese and in English, because I don't know the instruments myself.
Play for
Okay,
us.
yeah. So I will talk in English first. The instrument I play is called double bass, and it's really similar to a cello, but it's not a cello. Every person says we play cello, but it's not the same thing. It's like a giant violin. It's very common in jazz bands, or even small groups of jazz. What else? Well, I don't know.
Marcus, I play clarinet. Flute.
Flute.
What is the name of your instrument in Portuguese?
Em português é contrabaixo. Contrabaixo é acústico. Todo mundo acha que contrabaixo é o elétrico, né? Mas o contrabaixo... o contrabaixo de orquestra é tipo um violino super gigante. Eu até tô com ele ali, de repente dá para mostrar depois. Mas é um instrumento bem novo em relação aos outros. Os instrumentos de cordas é o violino, a viola, não a viola caipira, não aquela parecida com o violão, a viola de arco mesmo. Então, o violino, a viola, o violoncelo e o contrabaixo. O contrabaixo é o maior de todos. E basicamente é isso.
Do you know every single instrument name in English as well, or do you have to learn as you go?
No, I know the name. So it's violin. Oh, it's not too difficult actually. It's violin, viola, cello, and double bass. And did you mean like other instruments?
Oh,
as well?
I mean like every single instrument.
Oh yeah.
Because
well,
I guess you have to learn about them at college.
Yes, we don't learn how to play all the instruments actually. Yeah. Actually,
but you talk about them now, like what is the word? Like how they match with each other, how they pair, how they sound. Do you study about that?
Not really. Like because the course of when you apply to be a music student, the audition, you have to play in an audition. You have to audition for the vacancy, and at this audition you have to play the instrument, and you are gonna get the vacancy on the instrument you have played. So that's such a big difference between the music course and the others, because when you go to the uni, you have to know already how to play the instrument.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
we
have a question.
We don't learn.
We have a question from Danielle. Did you face any difficulties to adapt and make friends with natives in England?
Yes, it was really hard for me, especially in the beginning, because I was afraid about my English. And as I said, when I got there, the lessons and the course was already running, and the guys, especially my classmates, they already had their friends, their group. So I felt a little bit shy in the beginning, like to talk in English, to talk to people, and also like people in general in Europe, they are like a little bit cold. I don't know if this expression in English is right, but like they are not as we are here in Brazil. Like in Brazil, when we know another people, we are
they're
like,
not friendly.
yeah, no, not friendly. They are friendly, but not that much.
They will
Oh,
talk to you if you talk to them, but they won't really make an effort.
Yeah, something like that. But the thing is, when you make a friend, you know you have a friend, not a colleague. So here in Brazil, we call everyone as a friend, but actually we have some friends and loads of colleagues. And
okay.
in Europe, in general, when you make a friend, you know, like you will take this friend for forever. You will have this friend forever.
That's very nice.
Does anyone have a question?
I got a little late, so I'm a little lost.
So Marcus, he's doing a 4-year course in Manchester in England. He's studying music. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's like more to your course. He's studying music, and he's telling us about his experience over there. So I have a question now related to the difference between the American English and the British English. You've said it's very different, the accent, everything, but are there any main points, any special points where if you had to talk about it, you'd say this is the biggest difference?
Well, there are some words that are different. For example, pants. You know, pants. I don't know if everyone knows it.
Yeah.
In the UK, we say trousers instead of pants. What else? Um,
What?
Yeah.
yeah. Also,
Torneira,
oh,
como você fala?
tornado.
It's different, Leticia.
Yes.
I don't remember actually. How is it?
In American English, it's faucet, and in British English, it's tap.
Top, yeah, top.
Stop.
Yes.
That's true.
A lot of words are different. So
Yeah, some
sometimes
words.
I'm teaching my kids, and I tell them a word, and they're like, "What's that?" And I say, "You've already seen this word so many times," and then I realize, "Oh no, it's different."
Yeah. Also, line, like a line of people. In the UK, they say queue. It's crazy. But I think the biggest difference is the accent. Actually, it's not the word. Are not the words. I think the biggest difference is the accent. And for example, sometimes I mix these words because we have such a great influence from the US, so we learn how to speak in English, the American English, and now I'm having this contact with the British English, but I don't know how they pronounce some words correctly. So sometimes I just say as it comes. So for example, water. In the UK they say water, something
Water.
like that.
Yeah.
Little. In the UK they say little.
Little. And
Yes.
better.
Better, yeah, instead of better. But actually, in Manchester, for example, which is in the north, um, in London is the posh English, so they would say better. But in Manchester, they would say better. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not.
It's even difficult.
It's
Yeah,
even worse.
it's even worse. So they say better.
Yes, it's even
water.
worse.
Yeah, there's like a micro pause between these words, so it's better.
Marina asked a question on the chat, so she wants to know if anyone has made any jokes or made fun of you like we do with the foreigners here.
Well, I don't remember any episode now. Well, Well, sometimes they make joke like but just light jokes, not like we do, not bullying. In my first year, I used to live with an Australian guy and his girlfriend who was from Hong Kong. So it was a girl from Hong Kong, a guy from Australia, and me from Brazil. So it's pretty crazy. And the good point is that there were two foreigners in the flat. So the Australian guy was like he knew he knew when I was trying to say something, but I didn't know how to say it properly. So he was like, I know what you mean, like, this kind of stuff. And sometimes he made some jokes, but like jokes, just for fun, not bullying.
And they have curiosities about a country, about Brazil.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if we live in the jungle, because I was I was reading a report. I don't know how to say it's a reputation. No, it's
An
not a reputation.
article.
Yes, an article. And thank you, Leticia. And I I read that the people think that we live in the jungle. That-
Well,
it-
no,
it- it's
go.
so funny. I was laughing a lot, but I don't know how they made this impression about us.
Well, actually, I didn't have any moment like that. No one said that to me, but maybe it's because Amazon and all these pictures that they have from Brazil, because the way Brazil is, the way we sell Brazil to them, the image we sell Brazil to them is like beach and soccer. Oh, not soccer, football. Yeah, that's a good word as well. In the football in the UK, they say football. It's not soccer, so it's much easier. But anyway, that's the image Brazilian people sell our country to them. So
It's all
maybe
all about Amazon and Rio de Janeiro.
yeah, 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 yeah. Everyone says like, oh, I want to go to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Carnival, and blah blah blah. And they say, mate, don't go to Rio, go to Natal, go to Salvador. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much
Yeah.
it's much nicer.
Yeah. You are here in Brazil or England?
No, I'm in Brazil now because of the pandemic. So college has we don't have any presentially subject,
Activities.
any presential activity at the moment. So yeah, I'm in
Okay.
Brazil.
And
Okay.
you were missing there?
Yes, to be fair, yes. Even because now it's summer there, and I have never spent the whole summer in Europe, and I really want to. And actually, the summer, especially in the UK, it's like an event because Leticia knows that we have 12 months per year, and during 10 months is just uh, cold
Cold, cold,
and
cold.
raining and all this stuff. The sky is like dark. So during the summer, people get happier, nicer, more friendly as well. And I want to
You're
to be
missing
there.
all the summer festivals as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Letis, I think uh, we don't have more time.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say, Marcus, it was a pleasure to have you here and wait for you other time.
That's really nice.
Oh, guys,
I would like
I'm
to
so
thank
sad
you.
that I got late but it's okay.
Rodolfo is going to upload this to YouTube so you can watch it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we have a YouTube channel now.
Hmm.
So it was
Yeah.
really nice talking to you, Marcus. I think we learned a lot about you, about your experience in England, and I hope you can go back soon to resume your studies.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all. Thanks for coming, all the people who came here to watch it. Thanks, Leticia. Thanks, Rodolfo, and also Luis. It was such a pleasure for me to be here with you. And if you guys want to talk to me, just text me on, I don't know, on Instagram, something like that.
I will follow you
Okay.
right now. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, nice.
I hope
Bye.
Mark to see after pandemic and drink a beer with you.
Yeah,
Next time
let's
you
do
can
it.
come and play something for us.
Yeah.
Good idea. Good
Okay.
idea.
Bye bye guys. See you.
Bye,
Have a nice
guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
You too.